It's Wednesday, March 12th, 2025. Let's get right into what's going on today. Consumer price inflation slowest in 4 years as energy and airfare costs tumble. So that's finally some good news. Inflation slowing down a bit, but I think we're far from being out of the woods. Dow Jones down 82 today, NASDAQ up 212. Gold was up $21, sitting at $2,942. Silver up 31 cents to 33.38, and Bitcoin was down around 150 to 83,000. Inflation eased to 2.8% in February, lower than expected. It is up 0.2% for the month. So at least a little bit of good news. Are any of you seeing any relief at all at the stores? Yes, airfares are tumbling. Some rents across the country are beginning to come down a little bit. We're seeing home prices in some areas of the country coming down a little bit. Energy prices, no doubt, coming down. So a little bit of good news. How many of you think we're at some point going to see deflation in America? Deflation. I still think that we're going to continue to see inflation really be entrenched in this economy for a while, but I do think that we're going to see inflation and deflation at some point at the same time. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think we're going to begin to see some deflation at some point, or do we have more inflation concerns? I think we really, there's so much to worry about, but stagflation definitely is going to be a problem here in America as so many people are losing jobs and the economy slowing down. We're looking at negative GDP forecasted. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a mind reader. I can't look into the future. But the future doesn't look too bright at the moment. And that is not this administration's fault. What took place over the last 4 years has set up so many booby traps for this administration and for the United States. It is going to take years to fix this disaster. U.S. budget deficit surged in February, passing $1 trillion for a year-to-date record. This is a big, big problem. This is why I buy gold. This is why I buy silver. February deficit totaled just over $307 trillion just for the month of February. $307 trillion. We're looking at $1.15 trillion through the first 5 months of fiscal 2025. Really concerning stuff. And I hope everybody's paying attention to this because you will be affected by all this debt, whether you believe it or you don't believe it. We're all going to be affected by this. You know, when you look at these articles, when you study the data, we're talking trillion-dollar deficits, running a $307 billion deficit in February alone. This is the number one reason I continue to buy gold and silver, mainly gold, because the debt is going to be the grenade that just blows everything up. This is not repairable. We can slow down some of the damage. We can get back on the right track, but the debt is so big. You've got to be protecting yourself. The way I'm doing it is with gold and silver. And you all know that you got to put this stuff somewhere safe. And friend of the show here, Dirty Man Safe, one of the best ideas for storing your gold and your silver. Dirty Man Safes. Bury these under the ground. I think it's a fantastic idea. Take this off. Made your order from SD Bullion. Got yourself some silver. Got some gold. What I would recommend, especially with silver, is make sure that you vacuum seal this stuff. Put it in the Dirty Man Safe. Tighten that up. Bury it. You can check out the video down below in the description box. But I think this is a fantastic idea, and I've noticed that there's some people out there that just say, oh, somebody's going to come to your backyard with a shovel and a metal detector, and they're going to find out where your Dirty Man Safe is. I called one of the most respected, highest quality metal detector companies today, MineLab. And MineLab metal detectors, and I asked them, how far down can your high dollar metal detectors detect gold and silver? They told me typically silver about 14 inches, gold's a little harder to detect. They can detect that to about 12 inches. Now, if that's a high-end metal detector, MineLab, one of the best. If you want to go to one of their $10,000 units, they said about between 2 and 3 feet. That's The 10,000, the top of the line, he said, which is very, very rare for somebody to have, but they can go between 2 and 3 feet. So think about this. Do you really think somebody's going to be walking around your backyard with a shovel, a pick, a metal detector, and of course you get the steel ball bearings that come with these things. You bury them, you know, a couple inches under the ground or an inch in case somebody's in your backyard with a metal detector. Do you think that that's really plausible? People have cameras, they have dogs, they have neighbors, people at home, and nobody's gonna see a guy with a shovel and a pick and a metal detector digging up your backyard. I mean, too many people out there watch way too many cartoons. Please wake up. I think this is personally one of the best ideas to hide precious metals and other assets, and I think it's a great idea, and I highly recommend it. If you are worried about where you're going to put this stuff, get a couple of these, get one of these. And if you're one of these people that has $100 or $200 or $300 worth of silver, and you're like, hey, I don't want to spend $150 or $175, I get it. This is for the people who have thousands of dollars of metals to put away and hide somewhere, okay? Most people don't have the time, don't have the tools to make this contraption, this little dirty man safe, so they would much rather just buy it. For the people out there that have $200 or $300 to hide, this is probably not, for you. Again, if you need gold, if you need silver, link down below, SD Bullion. If you need a good place to hide it, Dirty Man Safe, link down below. Check it out. But MineLab, one of the best, if not the best, metal detectors in the world, told me today, 12 to 14 inches for silver, 12 inches it can detect for gold. Now, shifting gears here a little bit. Watching these markets, the volatility. I looked up yesterday, I Googled this, how much margin debt is in these markets right now. The number is $900 billion of margin debt. This is extremely dangerous. And could you imagine if people cannot pay this margin debt, if they cannot make these margins, what happens? They're gonna go after any stocks, any bonds, anything you have on the market, and if they can't get their money from that, they're coming after your house. Think about how propped up these markets are on debt, on margin debt. People don't really think about this, and these markets are getting really, really scary. And it's going to be very, very interesting what happens in the next few weeks with these markets. They've been manipulated for so long, but it looks like they're beginning to get a little bit out of control. The invisible hand doesn't seem to have the same influence that it once did. There was a very interesting article that came out in the Wall Street Journal the other day. Biden's mortgage relief fuels higher housing prices. Now, there was a video I watched last night from Reventure Consulting. He did a video on this article. Very, very good video. I jotted down some notes and some data points here. This is, again, very concerning, and we are just now getting more evidence of just how propped up not just the economy and the stock market are, but the housing market. The credit quality of these subprime loans is worse than the loans from the mid-2000s. This is all in the Wall Street Journal. Over 2/3 of the FHA mortgages have a debt-to-income ratio above 43%. The borrowers cannot afford these homes, ladies and gentlemen. Back in 2000, that number was 25%. It is now above 43%. The FHA made incentive payments to 556,841 homeowners in the past year just to prevent foreclosures. They took your money, the taxpayer, and put it in the hands of defaulted homeowners under this FHA program. The taxpayer is paying, you're paying to prop up home prices. At the same time, you're pricing yourself out of being able to buy a home because you're paying with your tax dollars people who can't afford these homes. Because they can't make the payment, you're making the payment for them. And this is continuing to keep this bubble propped up and enabling you not to be able to buy a home because you're too busy paying for other people's homes. It's unbelievable. It really, really is. We've got a helicopter here, probably highway patrol flying very, very low. So in retrospect, the taxpayer is actually funding this housing bubble. Another reason why you cannot afford to buy a home. You're too busy paying for other people's homes who can't afford these homes. The U.S. government has been making mortgage payments for hundreds of thousands of borrowers using taxpayer dollars, just exposed by the Wall Street Journal. Over 1 million mortgage borrowers on the FHA program are in default. Over 1 million in default. The Biden administration was blocking defaulted mortgages from going to foreclosure. Instead, they stepped in and made the mortgage payment for them. I mean, people should be absolutely furious what's going on. So if they didn't make the payment, they tacked the mortgage payment on the back of the loan, so the borrower has more debt. It's just an ugly, ugly cycle, ladies and gentlemen. So this, again, has artificially inflated the housing bubble and prevented foreclosures from hitting the market. We're not letting the free market cycle these defaults and foreclosures out of the system. Just think, if we saw these homes hitting the market right now, what do you think would happen to home prices? They would come down. They didn't want that to happen during the last administration. This new administration and DOGE need to get on this. FHA requires only a 580 FICO and 3.5% down. Now, you can still buy a house even with a FICO below that, but they will require 10% down. Some of these borrowers defaulted within a year. The government prevented the home from going into foreclosure using taxpayer money. All of this exposed in this Wall Street Journal article. Great job on the video that Reventure Consulting did, breaks it all down. There are right now 400,000 backlog foreclosures being stopped by the government. The housing market, again, is being propped up. You could say that the economy's been propped up, the stock market's been propped up, and now we see that the housing market has been propped up. The administration and DOGE need to get to the bottom of this. They need to unclog this. They need to get these foreclosures into the system, onto the market, so that we have more inventory, and this will start bringing prices down. So could you imagine prices coming down, interest rates come down a little bit, and prices come down, and people begin to get some good paying jobs, turn everything around. But I think that the job situation is going to be a problem. I think foreclosures are going to be a problem. Hopefully these do begin to hit the market, and this will at least begin to push prices down. I think that there'll be some opportunities coming, no doubt. But we have to realize, we have to be honest with ourselves that we're going to see a lot of chaos in the housing market still. We're going to see a lot of chaos in the job market, and it is not going to continue, or it is not going to be fixed anytime soon. It's going to continue, in my opinion, to break apart. But one thing that really has to happen is we need to see prices. We talk about inflation daily. We need to see home prices coming down. And this is one way to really give some relief to people who can afford to buy a home, is to get these foreclosures on the market. Ray Dalio warns that mounting U.S. debt problems could lead to shocking developments. I believe this 100%. Ray Dalio, multi-billionaire historian, he says we have a very severe supply-demand problem. This will require the White House to sell a quantity of debt the world is just not going to buy. So you buying bonds today? I wouldn't. He says this is imminent. Most people, he says, don't understand the mechanics of debt. You keep buying bonds, I'm going to keep buying gold. We'll see how it works out. But who wants the debt? Who's been buying the debt? Of course, the Fed's been buying the debt. Who would want our debt? It's garbage. And so now that nobody wants it, nobody's been wanting it, who do you think's been buying it, especially over the last 4 years? It's been the Fed. Hedge funds are selling stocks at a pace not seen in years. I wonder why. Why do you think hedge funds, why do you think Warren Buffett has been dumping so much stock? This is a sucker's market, in my opinion. I have very, very little in these markets. I have some mining stocks. That's about it. And by the way, that's a gamble. But that is really about it. This is the most overvalued stock market in history. I don't like buying things at full price. I like buying things on sale. When this thing crashes, and it is going to, that's when I will back up the truck and buy a load of stocks. I don't buy anything overpriced, overvalued. And this, to me, is a sucker's market. Good luck. I hope you're making money. If you are, I hope you're pulling some of the money off the table. There's too many people who've gotten so greedy, they're going to wait just a second too long, and they're going to get crushed by this. Same thing in real estate, same thing in the stock market. We've seen this happen time and time again. People just always think it's going to go up forever, and then it doesn't. And at some point, you know, they keep telling you, buy the dip, buy the dip. At some point, this dip just is not coming back. Silver as a hedge against market chaos. This on the hedge today. U.S. stocks have never been so overvalued. Again, with stocks trading at a nosebleed valuation, almost anything could catalyze a crash. Goes on to say, gold and silver may be an excellent place to hide out and even make some gains as the markets fall apart. Markets weren't too bad today. We'll see what happens. But again, you know, the invisible hand seems to be invisible. The invisible hand seems to have disappeared. They're not able to save the stock market at the end of the day like they used to. Remember, it'd be down 400 or 500, and then at the end of the day, it'd come roaring back, and we'd be up 100, 200 on the Dow. It's just, that's not happening anymore. And, you know, I was talking to my good friend Aaron today, and, you know, he thinks this is all being done on purpose, that this administration will crash these markets and this economy on purpose to revalue, to start over, to reset. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this? Is this being done on purpose by this administration, or is it going to be done on purpose by some other entity? Let me know your thoughts on that. But I will say this, in regards to silver, if you cannot afford gold, get yourself some silver. I do think silver may be the most undervalued asset now on planet Earth. It may be on the biggest fire sale we have ever seen. When you look at everything else, how overpriced it is, maybe silver just is the most on sale bargain asset on planet Earth. Here's another one today from The Hedge. Shred and burn all documents. USAID staff ordered to destroy evidence on Tuesday. A senior USAID official on Tuesday ordered the agency staff to report to their now former headquarters in Washington, D.C. for an all-day effort to destroy documents, many of which contain sensitive info. The email said to reserve burn banks for when the shredder breaks or becomes unavailable. This to me, it just seems to me somebody should be in jail right now. When a senior USAID official said to destroy evidence, and they show the email that everybody got. This to me is so outrageous and so criminal. And I hope that somebody is going to be arrested and going to jail for this. What are they worried about? What are they destroying? What are they hiding? Comment down below. Here's another one from The Hedge today. More than 200,000 government credit cards deactivated by Doge. Last month, Doge found more than 4.6 million government credit cards that accounted for more than $90 million in unique transactions, amounting to over $40 billion. Wow. So they deactivated 200,000 of these cards. Again, I've asked this 100 times now. Who out there, no matter what political side of the spectrum you're on, who out there does not want to know what's going on, does not want accountability, doesn't want to know where their tax dollars are going? Who would want to know this? You're paying for this. Don't you want to know? Do you think that if somebody's destroying sensitive records, that there should be some accountability? I don't know. People really do amaze me. It seems like a lot of people just don't care. They're willing to pay for this. They're willing to burn the country down because that's more important. It's more important. Their political beliefs are more important than anything. So burn the country down, have no accountability, let the tax dollars be raked over the coals, no problem. Don't let anybody be brought to justice. There should be nothing but lawlessness because political beliefs mean more than the livelihood, safety and freedom of the United States of America, the responsibility of our tax dollars going to the right places, keeping America safe, and keeping people accountable. I don't get it. CNBC, recession fears are rising. What to expect if one happens. We've been in one for years, and this pretty much reiterates everything we've been saying. Business bankruptcies, more common. This is what we're going to see if a recession happens. Bankruptcies, business bankruptcies, job losses, stock prices fall, spending slows, getting a loan becomes more difficult. This is all on CNBC. Let me ask you this. Have you noticed this has been happening for years? And yet nobody's saying we're in a recession. But right here on CNBC, they're telling you recession fears are rising, what to expect if one happens. We've been in one for years. We've seen business bankruptcies for the last couple of years. We've seen job losses for the last couple of years. Stock prices now are beginning to fall. Spending has slowed well over a year ago, and getting a loan well over a year ago became more difficult. So we're seeing all of these data points happening. We've been watching them happen for years, and now we're still questioning the recession. By the time they tell you we're in a recession, you'll know that we're deep into a depression. Please comment down below. Please, if you would, give this video a like and share this video and all my videos all over your social media. You have my permission. Share my videos everywhere. Make sure, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification down below. Have a wonderful day. Be safe out there. And most of all, please leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on any of this. But we are absolutely a nation completely out of control. There's no accountability. There's no law. We're massively bankrupt. We're in big trouble. I don't think that Doge is going to be able to fix the damage that's been done. I do believe that this whole thing is going to crash and burn. Who does it? I don't know. Will it be this administration? Will it be another entity? I don't know who's going to do it. But at the end of the day, it's going to have to be done. I hope that this administration will rise up from the ashes and that we will rebuild and reset this country. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe that's just a dream. Maybe it's just never going to happen. Maybe it will get even worse. We don't know. But I appreciate the comments. I appreciate your thoughts and your opinions. We may not agree. We can agree to disagree. But I think most people, all of us out here watching this today, would agree that we got big trouble coming, and it's going to be unavoidable. Stay safe. Talk to all of you soon.